You know someone who never smoked a day in their life and still got cancer. You also know someone who smoked for 40 years and never did. It feels random. It feels unfair. But here is what almost nobody tells you. The genes that can turn into cancer are already inside you, right now. They have been there since before you were born. Scientists call them proto-oncogenes. That is just a fancy way of saying genes that help cells grow and divide normally. Every cell in your body carries a version of them. You need them. Without them, wounds would not heal and children would not grow. So why do they not turn you into a tumor factory by age 5? In the 1970s, researcher Robert Weinberg noticed something strange while studying tumors in rats. The cancer-causing gene inside those tumor cells was not foreign. It was not a virus. It was a normal human gene that had simply changed shape. One tiny mutation. That was the entire difference between a gene that builds you and a gene that could destroy you. Later, scientist Bert Vogelstein mapped something even more unsettling. Cancer rarely comes from a single mutation. It comes from a sequence, 4 mutations, sometimes 5 or 6. Separate hits to the same cell, stacked across years before that one cell finally breaks its own rules. Think about that. Your cells absorb damage constantly. Sunlight, smoke, stress, ordinary aging. And most of the time, nothing happens. Why? Because your body has built-in brakes. One of the most important is a gene called P53. Researchers nicknamed it the guardian of the genome. Its job is simple. When a cell shows signs of dangerous mutation, P53 forces it to repair itself, or forces it to die, quietly, before it can ever become a problem. You are losing damaged cells to this system every single day. You never feel it happening. Here is the counterintuitive twist. Carrying a cancer gene is not the same thing as having cancer. Almost every person alive is carrying mutated cells somewhere in their body right now, cells that meet a technical definition of cancerous, and they will never grow into anything. A well-known autopsy study found that a large share of people who died from unrelated causes were quietly carrying microscopic tumors in their thyroid that never once caused a symptom. So cancer is not really about whether the mutation exists. Cancer is about whether that mutation wins, over and over, against every defense stacked against it, without ever getting caught. That reframes the whole question. It is not, will a cancer gene ever appear inside you? It already has, probably more than once. The real question is whether it gets past P53, whether it gets past your immune system, which immunologist Robert Schreiber showed, can recognize and quietly eliminate abnormal cells years before any diagnosis is possible. Whether it gets past its own limited lifespan, since most mutated cells simply run out of divisions and die on schedule, harmless. This is also why some families carry a heavier version of this risk than others. A small number of people inherit an already weakened copy of one of these guardian genes, like the BRCA genes linked to breast and ovarian cancer. They are not born with cancer, they are born with one less line of defense, a smaller margin between a normal cell and a dangerous one. Everyone fights the same war. Some just start with fewer soldiers. So the coworker who smoked for decades and never got cancer, their cells took the same hits as everyone else's. Their P53 gene, their immune system, and 1,000 microscopic wars you will never see just kept winning. You are not defined by the mutations sitting quietly inside your cells today. You are defined by the defenses working right now to keep them asleep. That work never stops. It is happening inside you while you read this very sentence. Think about your last sunburn, or a week of bad sleep, or stress you could not shake. Somewhere underneath that, a cell was likely damaged, and somewhere underneath that, a system you never think about was already responding, checking, repairing, deciding whether that cell divides again or gets shut down for good. You will never see this process. You will only notice the rare moments it fails. Isn't it strange that something this important runs without your permission? You do not carry the absence of cancer. You carry the genes for it every single day of your life, already inside you, and somehow, still, you win.